This
Hello there, wrestling fans, and welcome to another episode of the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. I'm your host, Joe the Panther the Third. And man, Ringside crew, ladies and gentlemen, I have a gentleman he's doing big things in the wrestling business. Introduce yourself to my internationally known audience.
Hi, my name is Jack Ledger, and I go by the Ice King or Zombie King or Power Breaker. Whoever I'm wrestling, I'm the opposite of them, and I'm from Minot, North Dakota. I trained at the Nightmare Factory, and 23 and trying to get as many bookings as I can, hit every state I can, and just young in the business, just trying to get out there.
Awesome. So, like you said, you were trained at the Monster Factory. Like, what kind of advice did they give you within your character, like to get yourself
The
like move sets and characters, stuff like that?
The Nightmare Factory, the Monster Factory was before the Nightmare Factory when
Okay.
then it fused Cody and QT, and they kind of like Glacier, WCW's Glacier. He was the one that kind of was always like, figure out who your character is, because if the crowd doesn't know, then you sure as hell don't know, or if you don't know, then the crowd sure as hell doesn't know. And so he was always like, look into that. Who are you? And it was many different flavors of ice cream there as your coaches. Some of them are like, dig into your character, and Cody was like, you don't need to dig into your character. And he's like, you don't need a character, you can be you. And so it was, there was just a bunch of things in the airs, and you can pick it. You can be like, oh, I want to be like a captain, my gimmick's a pirate, or it's like, or I'm just gonna be myself and maybe have some pirate slang in there and stuff. That's kind of what I did at the time. I wasn't the Ice King yet. I thought it was just gonna be like Ice King for like a match or two, but then now I just really ran with that. And Cody really helped me talk about promos. He said, you don't need to make it too gimmicked. You don't need to, if you're a pirate, like kind of, if your name's the Captain Jack Ledger, you don't need to say stuff like, I'll sail like to the next like match and I'll make you walk the plank. You don't need to go that gimmicky, because then it gets to the point where it's like people kind of don't take you seriously. So all in all, it's kind of, don't do too much. You don't need to be back in the day like Tugboat or Doink the Clown to be a character. You can be Jey Uso, somebody who is a character, but it's just himself pretty much. So that's kind of what I figured out, is be myself. I can have gimmick names for my wrestling moves and have gimmick shirts and be called the Ice King, but I don't need to actually live on the ice and make the Mr. Freeze jokes and puns.
You don't have to do this, and your opponent doesn't go.
Exactly. I don't need to do that stuff.
You means you can't. You don't tell the arena turn the air conditioning on too when you come in the building.
That it's 2023. Nobody will like. I'm a bitch to the weather. I don't know if I can swear, but
You can swear. You can swear.
I'm a bitch to the cold. Like, I live in North Dakota, and we can get negative 30, and I hate it every time. I hate 30 degrees. I hate 50 degrees. Yeah.
You
So
means you don't sell ice cubes at your merch table? Darn it!
I don't
Dang,
know.
I was expected
I
to
need
buy
to
some ice cubes. Damn it! From the
do
ice
something
king.
Ice King for a merch table, but
I
I'll
could
figure it.
see the cups now, like a picture of your face in a little, like a sticker, and it's an ice cube with the crown on top of your head. There you
Exactly.
go.
I should make an ice cube tray of like my logo or something. That'd be pretty sick. Expensive, but
Like you get like a big the industrial like ice tray, but you put the little ice pictures of you inside of it. So when the kids buy
oh
it,
yeah,
you're like, "Here's an ice cube. Here's an ice cube,"
like,
like that.
absolutely.
So, what was it like your very first time walking in the doors when you first decided to go into the professional wrestling business?
Um, so I started when I was 17, I think. Um, it was really weird. I felt awkward, but everyone does feel awkward in their first match. Like when I'm walking, I'm like kind of just like thinking of the next thing to do, but also not really thinking of people watching me. I just look awkward up there, and I hate watching it back. Everyone hates watching their first match, but it was like, wow, now I did it, and then you're just kind of thinking like, now I want to be better. Now I want my next match. It's kind of like when you get your first tattoo, you're already thinking about your second one. Um, and the the whole thing is like, okay, where do I go from here? Do I make a character now? Do I train? Like, you're always thinking of like what's next, because you're always just as good as your last match, and you're not going to get better until you have your next match and then your next match. But it was like one of those feelings of it, like, I'm here, I did it, like, I'm living my dream, because I was in high school when I started wrestling, so sometimes on Sunday nights I would be driving back, like, from like a 5 hours back home, and then get up early in the morning to go to school, so I'm like dog tired, and uh, like I wrestled the night before, and then like I have this mark right under my chin right here from wrestling yesterday, and
Hmm.
it's a I mark up all the time. Like, I have like the most sensitive skin, so it's like I'll like go to school with marks, and like, are you getting beat at home? But
That that's crazy when you think like you're a pro wrestler and that if you like you work in a job like I do, working like in a like nursing area, like a building that you deal with people. Like if I was a wrestler, I went to work, and if I was a wrestler, there's like you go to places that some people don't even watch wrestling, and you go show up with blacks and blues, and you have marks on your neck, and people are like, "What are you getting beat up?" No, no, I'm a wrestler. You sure? Like
you like wear like face paint or something, and you can still see the face paint from like kind of like on your skin, like from the day before. Like, I don't wear face paint, but yeah, it's one of those things, like, especially in high school, how I didn't do any sports. I did pro wrestling, and they're like, you're athletic, and why don't you? And I'm like, because I don't care about those. This is what, like, I want to actually make something out of.
yeah. So let's go a little let's go a little like further into your career. What was your energy like before you walked through the curtain for your very first match?
It's one of those, like, in like the movies, how it's very like climactic, but it's very anticlimactic. Like, when you hear it, it's like everyone's just nervous, and then they're like just trying to remember, and then it's just awkward, nervous, and like the people in like the match are just like, dude, you don't worry, you got this. I've done this hundreds of times, and then you're kind of just like, oh, like, scared, and like, okay, I got this, and then you walk out, and there's like, I don't know, 30 people in the crowd, and
Mm.
you're like trying to but it's I was very, very, very nervous. That's the way to put it. But getting out there, and like, my family was out there, so that's what mattered. It was just like I got to wrestle in front of my parents, and they're like, "Oh, you did so good." No, they'll always say you did good, but yeah, it was, after it happened, I was like, "Wow, that was crazy." Even if it's like even if it's like the smallest thing ever, I'll be like, "Oh, it was insane." But yeah, you're always very, very nervous, and that's what I was,
Mm.
like, shaking going out there.
Yeah. So, with you being in the wrestling business, what is like your normal schedule like leading up to a wrestling show?
um well, I work my shoot job. It's very My boss really does not like to give like days off, so I
Mm.
can't really wrestle Fridays. but Saturdays and Sundays are like the best times. So it's always like we leave really early the morning of Saturdays and show up there, just meet the guy for my first time, and then just wrestle him pretty much. And it's since I live in North Dakota, usually if I'm trying to wrestle somewhere, I have to wrestle in somewhere like Minnesota, and that's like a 9 hour drive. A lot of it is driving, and I hate driving, but it's you can't. What else are you gonna do? You know.
Yeah.
But that's about how it goes for us.
Mm. So do you always do you when you go to the shows, do you like prep like a meal plan, or do you like eat out wherever you go when you wrestle?
It's I try to prep a meal plan because I'm very cheap. I'm that person that's all like, "Ah, I can make this at home. Like we don't need to spend this money and all of that." But I am always like, I'll get an energy drink, and then hopefully they have catering in the back.
Mm.
That's my thing. And then like they did last night, but I was like, I didn't want to eat before my match, so I was like, I'll eat after. And then I got caught up talking with like fans and stuff like that. And then I went to the back and I was like, oh, the food's gone. Oh, great. So a lot of the times, the days I wrestle, it's either I get like a big ass burrito and eat it, or I just don't eat. And I eat a lot, so I'll just
Me
usually
too. Guilty.
I got
Like the place that I go to see my shows always in Slatington, PPW, that we were talking about before we started recording. They have like a full-fledged food court like outside
really.
the doors of the yeah,
That's
like
what I
everything from burgers to barbecue to pizza, gyros. Oh my gosh, they have everything. Like
that
sushi. Oh my gosh, coffee. There's a bakery there, and like you could like if you wanted to be a fatty that day, just eat a burger, then eat ribs, eat like cheese fries and pizza, and
Dude,
oh my god,
sushi before a match sounds amazing.
amazingly bad because if your stomach's not ready for that flow of sushi, you're like, uh oh.
I would always like at the Nightmare Factory, we would always get like an hour break just to like eat, do whatever, and then we'd get back in the ring. I would I would eat like a big ass meal and then hop in the ring. A lot of people are just like, oh, I can't eat before I hop in the ring, and I'm like, I can. I get
I
hungry.
think
So
it's like their fear that they're gonna either crap their pants or throw up on themselves, like during the
exactly.
middle of a practice. Like,
And I'm just like, I'm fine. I can do it.
so I noticed the awesome pops behind you. Like, was there a limit for you in one room, or is there like multiple different rooms of pops in your house?
So it's me and my we. I live with my girlfriend. We have an apartment together, and it's she kind of just says your room. That's where the pops go. She didn't want them anywhere else, but I kind of like snuck them around more places. Like I'll just be like, "Ah, you love Coraline. We can put Coraline in here," and then she'll just be like, I mean, that's true. And then I'll be like, I mean, this one's a Halloween one, and it's October. We can leave it right here. And she's like, that's true. But other than that, there's so many in here. Just and I have a garage too.
Oh god.
So I kind of turned the garage into a gym, and I put pops down there too. There's not too crazy amount, but it holds all my boxes because like as you can see, these ones are
Yeah, I can
unboxed.
see some of them over there.
Yeah, I don't throw away the box, so I just
I could.
I just have
That
them all.
sounds like a perfect TikTok video. Like, just the one room. But you know that some of them match the house. Like Coraline, you like
Exactly.
Coraline. She's
Like
nice. Have her in your hand. See, she's your friend.
see, I don't care for like flowers or something like some random coasters or whatever those decorations are. Like I always just like see this Macho Man one would look sick right here. Why not?
Yeah.
That's my decorating. So
Is there like a limit of like what kind of pop you collect, or is it like ones that you've wanted to collect for like a while?
I try to get like it like you know how it starts where like I got my first one. It was I think Evan Peters from American Horror Story, like the first
Ooh.
season. And I was like, oh, this one's cool. Like so I got it and I was just like, well, like if I got this one, I should get like my favorite movie and then or like my favorite superhero. So I got the Joker and then I was like, well, if I got that, I better get my favorite superhero and then like you know how it then it starts you're like oh my favorite actor oh I mean this is my favorite TV show and then I'm just like I mean I should collect all the favorite TV shows So yeah, I do all the I do all the Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I have a lot of clowns.
I love Killer
Handful
Clowns
of
from Outer Space. By the way, that was a good movie.
love it, love
So
it.
underrated, dude. So underrated, right?
It's
So
it's
underrated.
so good. And like people can say they hate it, but they'll just be like, oh, that's so dumb, and then they'll show their friends like, oh, there's this movie I watched. Let's watch it right now, and you're like,
Like,
yeah, it's coming
like
back. So
in 2018, I went to Halloween Horror Night in Universal, and
oh,
I
look,
said, Angela, Sassy, they're gonna have a house with Killer Clowns, and she's like, I've never seen that movie. And we went on Netflix, we looked it up, we watched it, and she was like, that was the stupidest movie I ever saw, but it was so funny. And I'm like,
exactly. It's like an amazing movie. I wish I'm going at the end of this month, but they don't have Killer Clowns this year, so that
they
sucks.
had it 2 years in a row. When I went, they had it, and then the year after, they didn't have the house, but they had the ice cream truck, and
Hmm.
they had the clowns walking around. They may have them randomly walking around if there's like a creepy
I
clown
hope so, but
inside.
somebody was like, yeah, there isn't. And I was like, fuck. So
Well, the
we'll
clowns decided to leave this year.
yeah.
They got
I'll
sent away.
I'll look for him. I'll look for him.
Um, so like, do you ever like when you're out eating dinner or lunch or breakfast with your girlfriend? Have you ever been recognized by a fan, like, and then going, "Oh, yeah, that's me," or "No, I don't know."
I usually do since I'm just somebody who's like I work like an 8 to 5, just like a normal dude. So if I ever do get noticed and like they're like, "Hey Jack," I always like I'm like, "Hey," and I turn around, I'm like, "Yeah, I'm pretty famous." But it's more of like if we're like walking around the mall, like somebody will like walk up to me and be like, "How you been?" I'm like, "Good,"
I'm about to
and then
sell
they're
something.
and then they're like, "Yeah." So when do you think the next show is going to be in town? I'm like, oh, okay, this is where you know where I'm from. Okay. Because you never know. Like sometimes like if I went to like hockey games here, like some kids would like follow me and sorry, my dog, but
Hi, Pop.
like kids would like follow me and then I was like, oh, who are they? Like just let me do my thing. Yeah, he's going to hang out here. Let him do it.
He's like, "Who are you talking to?"
Yeah, this is Loki. He's the nicest thing ever.
Low key, good boy. Hello, welcome to the Flu family. Hello.
But yeah, that's the about the extent.
Awesome. Um, so like, have you ever thought of coming east to wrestle?
Dude, I thought about hitting every state in the fucking country. It's just the money's the only thing that holds people back, and then buying flights for me is the thing that holds promotions back because they're like, oh, I don't want to do that, and I'm like, I promise I won't. Like, I'll give you a good show. I'll give you a great match. And they're like, yeah, I know. It's just the money. So, I'm trying. There's this one promotion called Flashback, and
Mm.
they I won the title for their Summer. Can you grab me the title? I won this title for Flashback, and they said they will pay for my flight if I get to defend it at any company. They
Mm.
just they need to promise me a good match, and it's a beautiful title. So,
Oh my god, yeah, it looks like the old IC belt from
oh yeah,
WWF. Oh, look
gold
at
back.
that. Gold
It's
belt's
amazing.
back. Oh wow. That's very
It's and I said perfect. So I just need to find a company. If you know a company that will like to have me there and they'll give me a good match, good one-on-one, because I don't want to defend this in like a 7-man
I
scramble
hate
or something.
I get so mad. The show that I'll be attending in a few weeks is PPW. They're doing
Yeah.
like their Halloween show, PPW Lives, and they're doing a trios tournament.
Okay.
So it's like three guys. So like if you ever here we go, this ties into that style match. If you were ever put in a trios match or a trio with any wrestler from the indies that you know of and you love and you're connected with, who would they be and why?
Okay. So me facing two other people
Or
in
like
a
in a
match.
trios, like a
Okay.
you like a trio, like a team. Like who would you like a Survivor Series style? Who would you be? Who would your
Oh,
two other
okay.
guys be?
So this will be my team.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think maybe. Well, I would probably have to say my brother, even though we're in a huge feud right now. That I just he's my tag team partner. like it feels weird tagging with anyone
He's probably
else.
gonna be so mad that you didn't tell him to come on the podcast with you today.
That he can hop on. He can hop on. We're kind of in some bad blood right now with in wrestling. So it's either Bobby, but I do also have this team called NDS. Um, they're it's Riley Jackson and Levy Cruz. They're Minnesota, but they go everywhere. They're really good at traveling. So those two, I would probably do that trio because we call ourselves NDS Hollywood, and we have yet to be teamed together. And I was like, God, I would love us to. So NDS Hollywood or my brother and probably Gino Rivera,
Hmm.
because those two people are like my biggest feuds ever.
Gino
Now,
Rivera. That name sounds so familiar.
dude, he's everywhere. He
Is he
is
like really short hair? Always like this in his pictures, like short. Is he? With Puerto Rico tights? Is that him?
Yep, yep.
I've tried to work with Gino Rivera so many times. Oh
He's
boy.
he's an amazing guy. He's an amazing guy. Really nice. But also his gimmick is just the best heel gimmick ever because it's so easy to hate him too.
Hmm. So, what would you say you'd be like your all-time favorite food?
So it was sushi for the longest time, but I don't know. I fell into this like breakfast burrito thing. Like I love
Mm,
breakfast burritos.
mm.
So that's my go-to. So if I'm on the road wrestling, like in like we leave early in the morning to get to the wrestling shows, I'll always be like, let's go to Qdoba. Let's go to Taco Bell. Let's get these breakfast burritos.
Yeah,
So good.
sounds
It's
like a plan to me. Oh man. So is it just bacon and eggs and peppers, or do you put like
it could
bacon
be,
and eggs and sausage with
yeah,
it?
bacon egg sausage, bacon egg steak, like just a bunch of things. And I make a lot my own, like potatoes in there too. And like it's just I like to
Oh, just
try.
it's just a giant burrito. And it's one of those
Oh yeah,
big boys.
oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
all that stuff in there.
LA night would be
So
like, yeah.
yo, dude, it's I I'm always like I usually cook, so I'm like, what's for dinner tonight? I'm like breakfast burritos. We probably had them like four
Start the
times.
coffee. I'll push the coffee button. I'll start the coffee
Exactly,
pot.
dude.
Do
The
you
breakfast.
do you eat do you get what's your favorite candy?
I just said it the other Pop Rocks.
That another one that's underrated that no one really gives it the credibility that it deserves these days. Like no one these kids, these young kids that I work with, I'll say like movies or candy that are like around that are kind of like hanging in there and they're like, "Huh?" And I'm just like, "You don't know what Pop Rocks are?"
Dude, Pop Rocks are amazing. I throw them on everything. Like it's like I throw them in drinks. Like I'll throw them on the rim of a drink. I'll throw them in slushies, dude. Pop
Oh
Rocks are
gosh,
so
yes.
good. Like if I want anything on Halloween, it's just gonna be a bunch of Pop Rocks.
There's a different flavors now. If you notice that there's strawberry,
Dude,
there's
yeah, there's so
apple.
many. There's so many I haven't tried. So I'm just like, it makes me feel like a kid again. Like we went to a candy store the other day, and I was looking at all these Pop Rocks. I was like, ooh, I could buy them. I
Do they
thought of
still get them at the small prices, or do they have them as like still like it's 50 cents for a bag? Because I went to one, it was like $1 for like a bag.
that. Yeah, they're probably $2 now, probably. But they'll get me. I'll do it.
Yeah, I'll be the one that's because where I live in Pennsylvania, it's a small town, and we have like an old school candy place that just has like racks and racks of like candy and bags that he's bagged up with like Twizzlers and the little the shoelaces and
Oh yeah,
like one of those old school like the one you saw in Willy Wonka, like
oh
that with the
yeah.
jars and
I like those
like the glass with this
the
chocolate.
licorice that you peel. Those
Oh
ones,
yeah, oh
so
yeah,
good. That's probably my second favorite candy right there.
yeah. So in closing, Jack, if my fans would like to find you on social media, where can they find you?
The way I put my name down here, that is my handle for Instagram, and then for Twitter, I have no idea. For Facebook, it's just Jack Ledger. It's just The only one I really use is Instagram, so that's where you can find me. And then my in my bio, it has like my pro wrestling tees. I have a lot of fun shirts. I have a lot of everything I do is usually like spoof. Like my gear, it's Buzz Lightyear,
Cool.
Pennywise, Captain America. So it's like the same with my shirts. Like my shirts, like it's kind of like a comic book, like Invincible look. Killer Clowns one is coming out very, very
Oh
soon.
man, send me a picture of that one. That sounds fire.
Dude, I'm gonna put them up in on Pro Wrestling Tees too. But the problem is Pro Wrestling Tees you can only have one solid color, and
Oh yeah.
and the shirts that I have being made, they're like white and green, like kind of look. It's very cool. But I have a lot of spoof a lot of spoof shirts, Invader Zim, stuff like that.
What
So
about Scream? Did you get a Scream one yet?
I'm not really even a big fan of Scream. Well, like I don't hate it, but I haven't. I seen the first one, and like that's about it. So right now it's October, so that's the best time to dig into it. But we're
Yeah.
watching the second one. If I get into it, I'll do a Scream shirt. I love Chucky, so I
Oh
want
yeah.
to.
Could see you doing a Chucky one, but like, the you, but make it look like you, but it's like with the ice over your head and you're stabbing somebody.
That would be pretty. That or there's this one where like Chucky, he's like cutting the head off of a Jack in the Box.
Yes,
I was gonna
yes, yes.
me cutting the head off of Jack in the Box
Yeah,
and throw some ice in there somewhere
yeah.
somehow.
Make it. Oh my god, make it like an ice scissor, cutting
Yeah,
the cutting
and
the
stuff
Jack in the
like that.
Box,
An ice Jack in the Box, but
and just put your brother's name underneath it, like saying this
yeah,
is
why
my
not? Perfect. But
cost.
yeah, that's where you can find me. This is the name right here. Jack underscore Ledger underscore Ice underscore King on Instagram. Go in the bio, buy my shirt, buy my shit. I will appreciate it. Share my shit, refer me. I'm trying to hit every state I am at. I think 9 states right now, and
Wow,
that's not enough
you need
because
more. You need
yeah,
more.
I need to hit double digits at least. But
Yes. We got to
you
see
know,
you coming. I got to see you come to Pennsylvania, man. I got to
dude,
either
if
New Jersey or PA because New Jersey is ISPW. That's another good one that has a lot of old wrestlers that come through and
okay,
stuff like yeah. Um, thank you so much, Jack. But we finally got this done. I'm so happy to finally have you on the podcast. I'll go pull the put the belt on your shoulder because we're about to do the send off.
okay,
Okay,
yeah, I would love
I'm
to
Joe
defend this.
Panther the third. No, wrong way. Your turn. Your turn.
Oh, what
You
was
have to
that?
say your name. You have to say your name.
Okay, perfect. Start it all. Run it back. Run it back. Run it back.
I'm Joe Panther the third,
I'm Jack Ledger.
and we will catch you in the next one. Good night, everybody.